information that is relevant to the claims at issue. Now this brings us to another key term.
I don't know how to respond to that.
I'm not asking you to respond. I just need you to know that I know.
It wasn't me, Cliff. Whoever you think
Yeah,
you
sorry,
saw.
but that's the kind of thing my son used to say.
Hey guys, Kiwi here, warning of spoilers for Breaking Bad, El Camino, and Better Call Saul to Season 6, Episode 5. In this video, I'll be breaking down and discussing Cliff confronting Howard on his fake drug problem. Like the video if you end up enjoying it, subscribe to the channel, and follow me on Twitter for more Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad updates, and if you really enjoy what I do here, maybe even consider checking out my Patreon. With that being said, let's jump into the breakdown. So after multiple schemes to slander Howard's good name, Cliff has finally had enough and decides to confront Howard about it. Cliff seems to be drinking the Kool-Aid, so to speak. First, there were hookers interrupting their lunch in Season 5, and then drugs falling out of Howard's locker in 601, the Kettleman speaking to Cliff about Howard having a drug problem in 602, and then Howard being framed for kicking Wendy out of his car in 604. And as a side note, as we know, Cliff's son has a drug problem, which obviously has taken a lot out of him. Who knows how many years Cliff's son has been dealing with drug issues. This is probably why Cliff said to Howard in 601 that he's unfortunately seen little drug baggies before. It's hard to help an addict get better in the first place, but especially if said addict doesn't even want to help themselves too. Also, having a parent-child relationship with the child doing drugs creates an even larger disconnect due to the child wanting to disobey their parents or not take them seriously while being lectured. Now, I'm not saying every case is the same, there's a wide range of different situations and possibilities in this regard. I'm just giving a general consensus on the matter. Cliff has probably fought with his son to quit drugs many times, and he's most likely heard every lie in the book. From denying the drugs are his, to saying that he never did them in the first place, along with saying that he isn't doing them anymore, or even saying that he has no idea what Cliff is talking about. So since Cliff has this personal history with a family member having a drug problem, he's been down this road before and instantly cuts to the chase. Also, denying what Cliff believes is the truth will just further make him not believe Howard's defense. So, just to back up a little bit for a moment, during episode 605 we see Aaron, Howard, and Cliff speaking to the residents of Sandpiper, who are becoming almost as impatient as Jimmy and Kim in regards to the case settling so they can get their money. The elders do bring up a good but dark point, that they're all kind of near the ends of their lives, and they don't have time to wait around just so HHM and Davis and Main can squeeze out every last drop possible. The elders just want to cut their losses, or winnings rather, and cash out. While Aaron is talking to the elders, she's not selling them on the idea of waiting. Howard is anxious in this moment, tapping his foot while watching Aaron low-key crash and burn, showing his impatience and concern that the meeting isn't going their way. Howard then leaps into action, taking over for Aaron and somewhat saving the situation. Howard does do a great job at selling them on the idea to wait a little bit longer, and to be honest, this really parallels Jimmy back in the first 3 seasons while working with elder law and with elders in general. I guess Jimmy isn't the only one good at talking to them. Now, considering how proud Cliff seems to be of Howard in this moment, it might initially make you think that he's coming around to Howard, but the way that Cliff sees Howard acting during the Sandpiper meeting does further confirm to him that Howard may be on drugs. The fact that Howard was tapping his foot impatiently is a simple thing that a lot of people do, but along with the fact of Howard leaping into action shows how energized he is. Cliff sees these characteristics as a tell that Howard may be on drugs in this moment, or maybe having some sort of withdrawal, even though as the audience we know that none of that is true. So we've been wondering all season who confronts Howard in the parking lot, and it's only last week's trailer that revealed that's actually Cliff. So we finally get to the scene of them in the parking lot, but halfway through the convo to save time with repeating what the audience already knows. Howard's listing off everything Cliff just accused him of, even though Cliff won't admit that it was the Kettlemans who went to him or that it was Kim that he was out for coffee with. Howard tries denying everything, but Cliff isn't playing around, speaking through the denial and defense, saying that he just wants Howard to know that he knows. Howard finally gets Cliff to admit that he was having coffee with Kim when he saw Howard push a hooker out of his car, and Howard instantly thinks back to the hookers and bowling balls from season 5, realizing that it's Jimmy all along. The fact that we now know Howard has a wife and a struggling marriage makes the sex worker schemes that much more horrible. If Howard gets framed for secretly seeing hookers, what will his wife think? And due to a promo image teaser from next week's episode, I believe we get a scene with Howard and his wife Cheryl next episode talking about Howard fighting back against Jimmy, seeing Cheryl on screen for the first time. So I wonder how much she believes his innocence in all of this. But back to the episode, I think it's kind of hilarious the way that Howard just cuts Cliff off and totally disregards his accusations and concerns from here on out, abruptly leaving. As Howard leaves, he tells Cliff that he has a problem, but it's not what Cliff thinks. Howard doesn't have a drug problem, he has a Jimmy McGill problem. All of this leads into the Hamlin versus McGill boxing match, along with Howard hiring a PI against Jimmy, but I'll be discussing that in its own separate video as I have a lot to say on that matter. So Howard now knows that Jimmy is behind everything, but he also knows that Kim is somewhat involved, being the one to lure Cliff out to see Howard being framed for pushing a hooker out of his car. We know that Howard thinks that Jimmy is behind all of this, but just exactly how much does he think that Kim is behind all of this too? Does he think that Jimmy is just using Kim in these moments? Because the truth is, Kim is the real mastermind here, so I wonder if that'll unfold during future episodes. And then considering the episode 606 trailer, we see Cliff going and talking to Kim at the courthouse, so does Cliff believe Howard that Jimmy and Kim are after him, or is Cliff just trying to get his own answers? Let me know what you think about the Sandpiper settlement case, what you thought about Cliff confronting Howard, along with if you think Cliff and Howard will join forces in the future, or if they'll be working alone on this scandal. Leave any thoughts and predictions in the comments below. I'd appreciate a like on the video if you've enjoyed anything I've said today. If you're new to the channel or just haven't yet already, subscribe and hit that bell notification to stay updated on when I post new content on Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad. Check out my Patreon to help support the channel financially, as it is a dream to be able to do this full time. If you got a few spare bucks lying around, it'd mean a lot, and thanks to those who have already. I also just enabled super thanks and super chat, that whole thing, to my YouTube channel. Still trying to figure out the kinks here, but if you see it and like to support me that way, feel free, I'd really appreciate that too. But most importantly, I thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out.
Cliff, I know this wasn't easy for you. You came to me as a friend. I appreciate it.
You can start today, Howard.
Oh, I will. Because you're right. I do have a problem. Just not the problem you think. I have a Jimmy McGill problem.
Jimmy McGill?
You'll have to excuse me.
Howard!